The New Orleans Saints finished the 2025 season with a bit of a bang, with Tyler Shock looking like the future. So in this video, myself and B-Ross, we are going to try and rebuild and do a mock-off season for the New Orleans Saints. All right, B-Ross, New Orleans Saints. Been an up and down year. It's been a bit more up as of late, and it feels like the mojo in New Orleans is starting to get back with Tyler Shock playing well. We're going to start off talking about what has happened in the 2025 season, the highs, the lows, coaching staff, quarterback, all that sort of stuff. Then we're going to talk about some of the team needs, what the team needs to do long term, what they need to fix. Then we're also going to talk about their contract situation, some re-signings, free agency, and a mock draft. B-Ross, start us off here. What has gone wrong and what has gone well for the 2025 New Orleans Saints?
What's gone wrong? They are a young football team they're trying to figure out how to win. And what's going right is they are figuring out how to win later in the year. So what has gone wrong has helped them get things right. Tyler Shock, he's looked better and better each week. Kellen Moore is coming into his own as a play caller / head coach. Like they're starting to find their rhythm and their mojo. So going into this offseason, they have a lot to look forward to. The issue is they are way over the cap. They don't really have money because they're paying a lot of veterans. So they're going to have to make some tough decisions that some fans won't agree with, some will, but they're going to have to make a lot of tough decisions regarding this roster. But good thing is they do have a lot of young talent on this roster as well, on both sides of the football.
100%. And we'll briefly cover some numbers here for the season. Now, it's important to mention when we talk about these numbers, Spencer Rattler was a starting quarterback for this team up until week 8. And admittedly speaking, I didn't think he was bad by no means. He wasn't winning games. He wasn't the reason why they were winning, but he wasn't bad. I felt like to start the year off, he was actually pretty good. And then as time kind of went on, he played a little bit worse and worse. Eventually, they made the change to go with Tyler Shock. And from week 9 on, Shock was the starter. And there were some highs, there were some lows. The lows obviously starting off with the bad loss to the Rams. Shock did not play great. Then he had some really good games thrown in there too, right? The game versus the Jets, he was fantastic. Game versus the Titans, he was fantastic. Game versus Carolina, he was really good. A lot of very high, both Carolina games, by the way, he was great in. A lot of highs this season. And I think for the biggest high of this team, seeing Tyler Shock work out has to make you feel really optimistic about his future as the quarterback and this offense's future, because when you look at the numbers, 29th in points per game, 28th in touchdowns per game, 23rd in yards per game. Obviously, these are season-long numbers. It doesn't take into account the later stretch. But when Tyler Shock took over as a starting quarterback, this offense got a lot better, right? They scored 24 versus Tampa Bay, 29 versus New York, 34 versus Tennessee. Not great football teams, but they started putting things together on the offensive end. And I'll say this as somebody who covered Tyler Shock in college, and I was not the biggest Tyler Shock fan. So when they drafted him in the second round, I was a little bit stunned by it, and he's proven me wrong quite a bit, and he's looked really good. And this is not a great football team. He's doing this with a football, with the roster that isn't great or isn't special. Now, there's some pieces here and there that are really exciting to talk about, but in general, it's not a great football team. So I think Tyler Shock's doing a great job. I think he's one of the biggest reasons for optimism in New Orleans. With that said, there's a lot of holes on this team, a lot of things that have to be fleshed out.
So many.
So B-Ross, what would you say is their biggest thing they have to fix this offseason?
The biggest thing I would probably go with interior O-line, because you do have a young quarterback, and to get the most out of him, you have to protect him. You have to protect interior pressure. And he struggled with that in college. I scouted him for 3 years at 2 different schools. I know this kid well. Well, he's not a kid. He's damn near my age. But we have to stop laughing. You're not helping.
Sorry, I know.
We have to address interior O-line first. That'll be my first stop. All
right.
God.
So the interior of the offensive line, obviously without Eric McCoy, who he's your usual starter, but it's been Simpkins, it's been Reduns, it's been Fortner, Ruiz. It's kind of been a revolving door. It hasn't been great, to say the least. I think both guard positions are positions where you could definitely upgrade, especially in that left guard position. And we have some decisions to make on Eric McCoy and his future. We have some decisions to make on a number of players. I would say the next biggest position of need, and I'm going to stick on the offense here. I think you need a receiver. You got Chris Olave, who's balling
True,
out this year, having a great
true.
season. But who do you have outside of him?
Not a
It's
soul.
kind of a who's who of names we're talking about. Juwan Johnson's having a really good year for this team. He is up there in age, so we're gonna have to make a decision on him. Your third highest leader in receiving yards is Rashid Shaheed, who hasn't been on this
And he's not
team
even
for
on the team.
several
Jesus.
weeks.
Oh
The
God.
next one is Devon Vele, Brandon Cooks, Devin. I mean, we have to find a weapon because Chris Olave is really good when he's healthy. He's really special. But yeah, it's pretty weak outside of that. I'll double down here real quick on another positional need. I think defensive line's a massive one, both interior and off the
Oh, true,
edge.
true.
Now, Chase Young's been really good this year. Like he's been probably one of their better defensive players this season. He's up to 8.5 sacks this year. By the way, Cameron Jordan with 9.5 sacks. That's wild at
He
his
doesn't
age.
slow down.
He does not
That's
slow down.
impressive.
Yeah, but Chase Young at 8.5, Carl Granderson at 4.5. You
Yeah.
probably would like to get somebody a little bit younger off the edge. If you can find a true DPR, which this class is flooded with them, I think that would be ideal. I mean, then interior defensive line, you probably need two, maybe three guys in general because Devon Gotcha hasn't been great. Brian Brsay has not worked out. Nathan Shepard's fine. Christian Boyd, he's still young. I guess he's not young. He's actually kind of up there in age. What is he? 25, but he's still a young player.
Yeah.
2024 draftee. John Ridgeway, not great. You did draft Vernon Broughton last year. We'll see if he can develop, but yeah, you need some interior defensive linemen for sure.
He gets some
Viras,
depth there at the least.
what's the other needs you think?
The other need, I would probably go with I'll probably go with corner. You have Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's playing some good football. You have Quincy Riley, who they drafted last year. You have Isaac Giddum, and you have Alontae Taylor, but he's a free agent. So what is his cap number going to be? Is it going to be too much to even bring back? So again, to your point, we are going to have some tough decisions to make there, but we like pass rush and coverage go hand in hand. It's like a good marriage,
Yes.
balance. You can't have one without the other because if you do, you're probably not that good. So we're going to need some corners to cover these dudes.
What about running back? What'd you think about that?
Running. Yeah, I mean, you got Alvin Kamara, but he's not the Alvin of old. You have Kendra Miller coming off a torn ACL, so you're going to need some fresh legs in there. And to me, they need a dynamic playmaker there. They need a
Yeah.
guy who can take the game out of your young quarterback hand at times and just be dynamic. So running back would definitely be a need for sure.
They do have Audric Estime, who is coming off probably his best game of his young career, or later in the season. They also have Devin Neal from Kansas, so
Kansas.
they
Yeah.
have some younger guys there that you can kind of work with. But I do agree they need some more dynamic playmakers in that room. Um, Linebacker Demario Davis is getting up there in age. He's also a free agent.
True.
We'll see if we can bring him back, but I don't know. They do have Jalen Ford. They do have Danny Stutzman, Pete Werner. They also have him as well. So they have some youth there, but I think in an ideal world, you could get a linebacker. And then I think depth in tight end. Foster Moreau's a free agent. Jawan Johnson's getting up there in age. Still really productive.
Yeah.
We have a decision to make on him as well.
Taysom
Um,
Hill's about to retire.
Taysom Hill is about to retire, so they're going to need probably a backup or maybe even a starter at tight end. So those are the biggest team needs. Again, interior offensive line, wide receiver, defensive line, running back, linebacker, and tight end. Let's talk about money because boy oh boy,
They don't have
negative
none.
negative $15 million in cap space. Now the good news is
There you go.
their cap space does open up a lot more in 2027. So this year they're looking at negative 15. Next year in 2027, this is before we make any extensions, before anything else. They don't have a single player in dead money. So they're going to be looking at about 150, $140 million to work with. Of course, you're going to have to extend some players. That money will be eaten into a little bit. So they don't have a ton of money to work with, but with free agency, you might be able to backload some contracts and get some players that way. So we will
Yeah.
have some money to open up. That all said, negative 15 mil is not ideal. So we're going to have to do a lot of cap maneuvering to bring in some free agents to make this team a better team next year, because you probably want to go all in on your young quarterback while he's on this rookie deal, to try and give yourself a chance to make a playoff run, especially in an NFC
think you
South
have
that
to.
is horrendous. So we're going to try to do that. Let's start off with some extensions. We're going to begin with Chris Olave. Chris Olave's doing a nice little bag.
Mandatory.
I think he won't make top of the receiver market, but he'll be somewhere inside the top 15. You extend him, you extend Chris Olave, that'll open up $11.4 million via over the cap. B Ross, what are your thoughts on Chris Olave? What are your thoughts on the extension? Do you have a number in mind? What do you think?
Uh, his number is north of 15, south of 20. Um, like to me, that's where he kind of falls, and mainly because one, like the injury stuff, but
Concussions.
he is a dog. Yeah, but like so you have to pay him, but you can't pay him maybe what he's truly worth because of the all the concussions and the injury history. You but you're talking about a real number one who truthfully to like get the most out of him, he needs another guy beside him. But I would say somewhere between 15 and 20 million would be
So
my guess.
my guess, I think he's going to make somewhere similar to what Jamison Williams made, which is 26. But I think with Chris Olave's number, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of like injury, little asterisks.
Prevention.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you have
Yeah.
this, if you did that, we're going to say you're this.
Fair.
I think it'll be a very interesting contract to play out. The next one is Pete Werner. Now, Pete is under the contracts for next year. However, if you extend him now, you lock him up long term. He's a quality linebacker. You don't want to lose him anytime soon. You give him an
Right.
extension. It'll probably be like a 1 or 2 year, extra years on his contract. That'll actually open you up $4 million in 2026 to get a couple extra free agents. So wanted to make sure we locked him up. And then Chase Young. Now with Chase Young, we could have either extended him or restructured him. We decided because he's 26, because he's playing some really good football, we should probably extend him. Just makes the most sense. By extending him, that opens up $10.8 million this upcoming season. More like 10.9 million, but we'll say 10.8. What are your thoughts on
Yep.
Pete Werner, B. Ross? What are your thoughts on Chase Young, and the extensions?
Well deserved. So Pete Warner, I loved him coming out of the Buckeye State. Really good football player. Um, he is going to have to be the green dot guy eventually down the line because Demario Davis is damn near the same age as me, and I'm 36. If for those who don't know, so at some point Demario is going to hang him up, and Pete Warner is going to slide it probably to that Mike spot, or someone is going to fill that role. But Pete is going to be a big time leader on that defense. Chase Young is having a reviving type of year. He is productive. He has what 8.5, 9 sacks, something like that.
Eight
He's
and a
he's
half.
been productive and disruptive all year. So an extension is well deserved, especially if it helps the team create more cap space. Like it's not like this dude is 30. He's still 26. He's still a young pup who is playing some of his best football. So an extension for both of them is warranted for their play, but it also helps the team. So sign me up.
All right. We're going to go ahead and cut some players now. It's the unfortunate part of the NFL, players getting cut. We got some unfortunate names we got to talk about. We got to start off with Alvin Kamara. It's unfortunate.
Oh,
You hate to see a franchise legend go out this way. Now, I will say this. If Alvin's willing to work out a deal where he's going to come back for super cheap, then okay, right? I don't think he would. I think
how
that
cheap are we talking?
if we can rework his deal to 3 or 4 million, maybe even less, because and while he's still a great player, this team they need better
They need the
options at running
money.
back. They need the money, and he's 30 years old. He's not the same running back he
Yeah.
used to be. He's a bit more injury prone. If he's willing to rework the deal, then cool. I'm not in his head though. I don't know what he would say to that. So we're just gonna cut him. By cutting him post June 1st, you save $8.5 million. I can already tell some
Oof.
Saints fans are pissed.
They are gonna cuss us out in these comments for cutting one of the best running backs to wear a Saints jersey. Just FYI, just a heads
Yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah. We'll
But
we'll eat it on the chin. But again, if he wants to
it's what
return for a rework deal, yeah,
then cool, but it's what need to be done. Like he's getting up there in age. He's not the same guy. We need the money. Some's got to give. So either he reworks a new deal and he come back for cheap, or we give him his beignets and let him walk.
Yes, it's a sad one. Another kind of a sad one here too. Eric McCoy can just never stay healthy,
Ah,
and he's making a
man,
lot of money.
so talented.
When he's healthy, he's good, but he's just always
Yep.
injured. And if we were to cut him also post June 1st, we would save $10.5 million. So again, another one of these scenarios
19.
here where it's like, if he wants to come back on a rework deal, then yeah, we'd consider it. But I don't think he would. I think he'd probably just test the open market, and I think that's what we'll end up having to do. By cutting both those guys, you save a combined $19 million. We're also going to cut Devon Godshaw. They made the big trade, not big trade. They made a trade for him this offseason. It didn't really work out. He's just not a guy. He's a decent pass rusher, but he's not going to get a ton of sacks. He's also not a good run stopper.
No.
It saves us a little bit of extra money so that we can afford a nice draft pick. $1.5 million into our books. This is pre-June 1st. After extending and cutting, we open up. We're now back in the positives. We got one more move, though. And this one might be the most controversial of them all. I think we should trade Juwan Johnson.
I think that's the right move.
It's
Because
either you trade him or you
or
extend
you let him walk,
or you extend him.
but extending him doesn't make us better. I don't think.
He's a good player. If we extend Juwan
Yeah,
Johnson, it saves us $6 million. If we were to trade Juwan Johnson, we can get a draft pick, and we get $9 million.
and
So
that's why we're trading him. And that's the business of the NFL. I want 3 million more and a draft pick in 2026 or 2027.
yeah,
Either pick, I wouldn't care. It's more about saving money so that I can sign my draft class. I can possibly get a couple good free agents, but this is a move that we have to make. Have to make it.
and we thought about some potential trade spots. There's a lot of teams that would have a ton of interest in Juwan. He's actually like one of the better tight ends out there. He's just getting up there in age. He's gonna be 30 years old soon. He's making a lot of money. We're trying to build towards the future and this is gonna be a good tight end class, so we can get a bunch of
That
talented tight
is
ends. We might draft one as early as round 2 or 3. We'll talk about that when we get to some drafts and some free agency stuff. We're gonna trade him away. We have a couple of teams in mind. The number one team that we are going to consider would be the Denver Broncos, because Denver, Sean Payton, some
They
little
need a tight
Saints
end.
connection there.
They
They
need
also need a
tight
tight
end.
end. They are in a win now mode, so they could give you a good pick. We also thought about Miami. If Miami is willing to give up a draft, they feel a little bit less realistic, but they have, I think, a couple day 2 picks, so they might be interested in Juwan Johnson. Washington, Zach
Washington.
Ertz,
Yep.
older, coming off a major injury. He might even retire. They have Ben Sinnott, but outside of him, a lot of unproven guys. Those are the 3 guys you can also see on the screen. I'll probably throw a few extra names out there. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where they go to. We'll just say he gets traded to the Denver Broncos. In terms of the return, with his productivity this year, do you think we can get a third from Denver maybe? It feels
That's
rich.
rich.
It does feel
That's
rich.
rich.
You think a four,
That's rich.
you think a four's more realistic?
I think a fourth is way more realistic.
Okay. So
And I think Peyton is willing to give up a little bit more for a player he knows.
yeah. So we'll get a fourth from the Saints. It's not ideal, but obviously some Saints fans will want a second or a third. It doesn't really work out like that in the NFL. Typically, teams value
does
their
not.
picks. So we'll get a fourth.
Okay.
It's unfortunate. He's a good player, but again, we are going to try to rework this team around Tyler Shock, get a little bit younger, start building towards the future, get off some of these bigger contracts, set ourselves up for success next year, this year, and years beyond. After all those moves, after we extend Chris Olave, Pete Werner, Chase Young, we trade away Juwan Johnson, we cut Alvin Kamara, Eric McCoy, and Devon Gotcha. Again, with the caveat that if Kamara and McCoy want to return for cheap, then we'd consider it. But for this rebuild, we're going to cut them. We're now up to just under $50 million in cap space. Before we do that, though, we do have a couple players we need to re-sign for this team. And admittedly speaking, there are some names here that we would like to bring back, but with the money they might be wanting, it just feels a little bit unrealistic. So, B-Ross, I'm going to go ahead and list off a few players, and I'll let you kind of talk about which ones you want to keep and which ones you don't want to keep. Does that sound good?
Yes, sir. Let's do
All
it.
right.
What
So
you
the
got?
biggest name this offseason, and this is a really tough conversation, Alontae Taylor, who based off all accounts, it sounds like they won't re-sign him, but we're not in the book. We're not in the building. So B Russ, what are your thoughts on the idea of bringing back Alontae? Should they do it? Will they do it? What do you think?
He's a good football player. Saints fans, he is. But his cap number, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be high. Like he's a corner. Corners get paid. Corners get paid like 3 and D players in the NBA. Like he is going to get paid a significant amount of money that the Saints right now just can't afford. When you're in rebuild mode, you have to go all in on rebuild mode. And I don't think Alontae Taylor is good enough to justify his contract for a team that's rebuilding.
Yeah, so
If that
Alontae's
makes sense.
no, that makes sense. He's 27 right now. Via
Yep.
spot track, he's going to be projected to make about $11 million per year. So
No,
you're probably talking 3 years, 35, 36, something along those lines. It's a lot of money.
it
And
is.
he's
Especially
played
when you don't have
well.
any.
Yeah, right. He's a good player,
Yep.
but I think he's upgradable. I feel really good about Kool-Aid McKinstry. I feel really good about Quincy Riley. You
I feel
obviously
good about
have,
the draft class.
I do too. And there's a lot of good corners in this class, so we can get off those deals. The next one, and this one you might have to throw a caveat to at this one. Demario Davis, 36 years old,
Mm-hmm.
probably will either retire a Saint this year or next year or the year after. This one's tough. He's 37 years
Ah,
old. He's a good player still, but in a team that is trying to build towards the future, does it make sense to give up 13, $14 million to a guy that's 37 years old when you can sign a younger player that may not be as good, but will be on your team for several more years?
right. Yeah. So this is the tough part about the business. As a fan, you want to keep those players there as long as possible. Realistically, not gonna happen. Like I love Demario Davis. I love what he stands for, type of player he is. But I can't re-sign him 13, 14 million. And he's gonna play a lot, but I need my young guys to get better because at some point he's going to stop playing. And if I'm not getting those guys the reps, they don't get better. So like the caveat is if he comes back for less, then we're having a different conversation. If he wants to take a pay cut and come back for less for a year and help develop leaders and help that room and help that defense, different conversation. Then you know I'm willing to listen. But outside of that, I can't. You can't pay somebody at 37 years old who is and like I'm not saying he's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, but he's thinking about the next phase of life. Like he has to be because he's
Yeah.
damn near 40. So me personally, I wouldn't resign him unless he's coming back for significantly less money and change in a change in his role game to game.
Speaking of a veteran that is already kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, Cameron Jordan, 37 years old, having a really good year, put up some stellar
He
numbers this
is.
year for his age. Now, this is a guy that I think you could have a serious conversation about bringing him back for a cheap deal. He seems like
Yeah.
he'd be open to the idea. Do we bring him back on a 1 year, $3 million deal? Because I think we could afford it. If he's open to it, I think we should consider it.
If he's open to it, I say we pull the trigger and do it because he's still effective. He has what 9.5, 10 sacks this year.
Yeah,
Like
it's
he
crazy.
still knows how to rush the passer at a high level. So I would say if he's up to sign the deal, let's do it.
All right, so we'll put that down. Cameron Jordan, if he's willing to, we will sign him back to a 1 year, maybe $4 million deal. We got some backup offensive linemen that I'll cover really quickly. Dylan Raduns, Luke Fortner. We're gonna bring back both these guys for relatively cheap deals. We'll give them a bit of a pay boost because they did play a lot this year, but we don't have to break the bank for them. These are good rotational backup interior. Dylan Raduns, the swing tackle, can kind of play multiple roles. Luke Fortner, we'll give him a 3 year, $12 million deal. It could be 2 years, $8 million, however it works out best. That's for a year. Dylan Raduns, 2 year, $4 million. We got those numbers via Over the Cap and Spot Track. After all those moves, including the addition of Cam Jordan, Luke Fortner, Dylan Raduns, you're looking at about $40 million remaining. Really quickly, some other names we could talk about. Taysom Hill, probably going to retire. Foster
Yep.
Moreau, maybe on a cheap return
Maybe.
deal if he wants to. Coming off an injury, that's tough. The only other one that maybe you could have the conversation about would be like Julian Blackman, because he was a good pickup, but he's been banged up all year. And you already have Jonas Sanker, you already have Justin Reed, so not the biggest of needs in my opinion. So I think that's all we're gonna do. If there's a restricted free agent or somebody like that, then you could hypothetically bring them back, but we're not going to talk about those. So up to this point, again, just a quick little recap. Chris Olave, Pete Werner, Chase Young, they're extended. Juwan Jennings. Juwan Johnson is now a Denver Bronco. Alvin Kamara, Eric McCoy, Devon Godshaw are all cut. We re-signed Luke Fortner, we re-signed Dylan Redunds, and we re-signed Cam Jordan to a cheap deal. Now we
Yep.
enter into free agency with about $40-ish million to work with. The numbers are kind of loose here. Let's start off with our first player that we have already determined. We're going to talk about offensive guard David Edwards. We're going to bring him in on a 3-year,
Buffalo Bills.
$48 million deal. It's a guy that has a ton of experience, has been mostly healthy the past few years, and via PFF, he has a 71.4 overall grade, 73.0 pass block grade, 69.0 run block grade on over 1,000 snaps. The year prior, a 63.8 overall grade, a 62.4 run block grade, and a 63.6 pass blocking grade with 900 snaps. He plays left guard. We could have also signed Connor McGovern, but because we brought back Luke Fortner, we could maybe address center in the draft with like a day 3 pick. David Edwards, really quality, good player, fits in
That he
nicely with
is.
what we want to do. What are your thoughts on David Edwards with that 3-year, $48 million deal?
Yeah. So he's only 28 years old. And people, FYI, the average for PFF is 55. If the guy's over 55, he's playing some pretty good football. I'm just tell you that. 55 is the average. It's I know this firsthand, word of mouth. I've talked to some 55 point something, but I'm sure it's at 55. So the fact that his running pass grades are well in the 60s, that's a good sign. He's still young enough to where we can get him, get good play out of him for the next 3 to 4 years, and the value makes sense. We have some new money and we need to protect our young quarterback. Sign me up for David Edwards. Sign me up.
All right, next one. This is somebody from your favorite team. We're going to try to add a weapon for Tyler Shock. We're talking Romeo Dobbs. Now, we considered Alec Pierce. He's going to look at about $20 million a year. It's a little bit too much,
Costs
although
a
he'd be
lot.
a great fit. We looked at
Yeah, he
Juwan
would.
Jennings. He's a bit older. He's going to go for about 15 to 20, a little bit too much. Romeo Dobbs kind of fits our price range at about 4 years, 50, maybe like 52, somewhere around that range. We're going to stick at 4 years, $50 million. That's 12 and a half annually. B-Rush, as you can see, is very excited. He is a Packers fan, so he knows this guy very well. Romeo
That's my
Dobbs,
guy.
good length, good size, can win downfield, 6'2", 204, has some highlight plays that are awesome. I think he's a good fit with Chris Olave. You are the Packers fan, though. What are your thoughts on Romeo Dobbs going to Green Bay?
Dobbs, opposite of Chris Olave, Dobbs will get a lot more. I mean, just he's going to get cornerback number twos. He's been getting ones, and he's been fairly successful. He's going to get CB2s now, CB3s, and he's going to have a better chance at an even better chance at winning those matchups. I think he fits well. He's a good possession receiver, smooth route runner. Like he fits well within that roster. So sign me up.
Absolutely. And if you guys know anything about Kellen Moore works very well when he's got really two good receivers. With
Receivers,
Dallas,
absolutely.
you had Amari Cooper, you had Michael Gallup, you had CeeDee Lamb. Those obviously were a couple good years there. With the Chargers, didn't really have a ton of weapons, but with Philadelphia more recently, you had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. This year, Shaheed didn't really pan out too much. You traded him away, you got draft picks, but you have Chris Olave. Needs some more size next to him. I think he's a good fit. Lastly, we're going to bring in a prove it guy, somebody who did not play a ton in 2025, but in 2024 was a really productive player. We're going to bring in a linebacker to replace Demario Davis and pair next to Pete Werner. We're going to bring in Micah McFadden on a 1-year prove it deal for $2 million. He had an injury, did not play in 2025, but in 2024, he was really good. 62.8 overall grade, 66.0 run defense grade, 53.5 coverage grade with a 79.6 pass rushing grade, 75 solo tackles, 4 sacks, 668 total snaps. 2023, the year prior, a 65.6 overall grade, 71 tackles, 2 sacks on 700 snaps. So really just the 1 year with an injury is his, most down year. This is you get him for cheap. You hope he stays healthy. If it works out, it works out. If not, there's no risk or harm to it. If it does, then you give him a nice
Exactly.
extension after the season. I like this move. This is a really cheap player that I think a lot of teams will have a lot of interest in because you can get him on that 1 year prove it deal. In this case, we're going to do it for the Saints. What are your thoughts on Micah McFadden?
Exactly. You hit it nail on the head. This is a 1 year prove it deal. This is a low risk, high reward type of deal to me. Because if it doesn't work out, you lose a couple $1,000,000 for 1 year, but you get all of that back in 2027 when all these big time names come off the books. So if it does work out, you're able to pay him, keep him in house. He knows the system. Everything kind of works in your favor. So to me, this is a low risk, high reward deal, which is what you want at this stage of free agency.
All right, guys. So after all of that, those are the only moves we can make because we're kind of tight on cash. We brought in David
Right.
Edwards, 3 years, 48. Romeo Dobbs, 4 years,
Yep.
50. Micah McFadden, 1 year, 2. Prove it deal. We're now down to about 10 or so million dollars. We'll be kind of loose with money here if we can afford to bring in, or if we can afford to maybe restructure a deal, make a move a little here and there. That'll give us a little bit of extra cash. But with that said, we're not going to enter into the mock draft. And B Ross, we obviously have
Oh,
the 4th round pick from Denver, and they already have 2 other 4th round picks. So I say let's do a 4-round mock draft to get a couple
whew.
extra players in here. You think we can do so?
Let's do it.
All right. As you can see, we're on the PFF mock draft simulator. The Saints have the 8th overall pick. A little bit of some wins here. By the way, we're recording this prior to their game versus the Atlanta Falcons. So this pick might be a little bit differently, but I don't think it's going to affect the draft too much here. Let's enter the draft here at pick number 8. And wow, Fernando Mendoza goes 1, Caleb Downs goes 2, Dante Moore 3, Arvell Reese 4, Jeremiah Love goes 5, Jordan Tyson at 6, David Bailey at 7, and up at number 8, we have a lot of options here. We have Ruben Bain Jr., Peter Woods, Carnell Tate, Sonny Styles. We could go a corner, Mansour Delane. A lot of Kendrick
There's so
Falk.
much talent. There's so much talent in
Some
here.
good players here. Now we also have to look a little bit down the board here too. We know that running back is kind of thin. We're not going to take one here, obviously, but with Jonah Coleman, Jadarian Price, LJ Martin, Emmett Johnson, I like him a lot. We're looking at probably round 4, round 3 for those guys. I got to be honest with you. I think my initial lean here is probably either Peter Woods or Ruben Bain.
Peter Woods. Yeah. I was thinking about one of those guys. It's just a matter of do we go interior or do we go pass rusher?
I will say I think edge is a lot deeper in this class, but I'll
Fair.
tell you this right now. I don't think Saints fans are going to want to go with another Clemson interior defensive lineman.
True, because they
So
do have Brian
it
Breesy, and that has not panned out, but
did
I could have told
not.
you that was gonna happen.
I like. I think I'm
You
gonna
know
go. I
what?
think I like Ruben here.
I'm about to say, let's stick to our big board. Both of us had Ruben, what, top 3,
Yeah, he's fallen a little bit off mine.
top 5?
He's still my top 5 though. Yeah.
Right. So I say we go with best player and don't overthink it.
All
Ruben
right.
Bain's the best player
Yeah, and he's coming off a
available.
nasty game versus Ohio State.
Man,
Dominated him.
he dominant game.
So, and I think they would like his length, not his length, his build, his size, his physicality.
Mm-hmm.
It would give them an identity piece on that edge rushing room next to Chase Young and Granderson. Let's go Ruben Bain here at pick number 8. All right, we're gonna be back up at pick 40. Ooh, my guy Joshua Joseph's here. Damn. Oh, bummer. Amari Washington comes off the board. Colton Hood's off the board. Kristen Miller's off the board. Francis Maui Noah went
Damn.
late. So if we look at our board here, we can still go receiver. But I don't think because we brought in Romeo Dobbs, not the biggest of needs. We need a tight end. Max Clare, Jack Andrews, Michael Trigg. Probably not here at 40. We'll look at that in round 3. Interior defensive line. Man, oof. Lee Hunter. Big dude up the
With a
middle.
better reach.
It feels
At
like it.
40?
It kind of feels like it. Anthony Hill. We could use that. Ooh, Emmanuel Pregnon's still available.
Emmanuel Pregnon? Who would you rather
Uh,
have, the guard or the linebacker?
hmm.
Or
Let's look at
is
corner here
is
too. We need a corner.
yeah,
Chris Johnson. Ooh, Keontae Scott. Ooh, man.
there's a corner in there?
There's Chris Johnson, Keontae Scott, Chandler Rivers, Dalen Everett. Mm,
I don't like Dalen Everett. I'm not a
me
I'm not
neither.
gonna like him.
But that's
I'm
the
not a
issue.
fan of Dalen Everett.
If we don't take a corner here, when we get to our
I
pick
like
at,
Chris Johnson.
if we go at 72, the board is going to be Chandler
Dang.
Rivers, Dalen Everett, Julian Neal, D'Angelo Pons, Manny Muhammad. I like him. I like him. I think Manny Muhammad would be a good fit for this team, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, question would be, are
Need
you
somebody who
okay?
can play inside.
Question would be, ooh, this is tough. Are we confident enough in Micah McFadden, Jalen Ford, and Danny Stutzman to where we can pass on Anthony Hill, and maybe we could take a fourth round linebacker like Drake Bowen, the kid from OU. Maybe Rodriguez falls. Probably not to 132.
No.
He won't fall. Ooh, they don't have my guy on here, but we can kick the Missouri kid.
Trotter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's not here on the PFF board, but he's a stud.
Because they're late.
Yeah.
Um
It's a tough spot. I think I lean corner here.
I
though.
would lean with I would lean with best player again.
So that would be
Who do you think is the best player available right now?
probably Anthony Hill.
But we just resigned a guy.
Well, we signed Micah McFadden to a 1-year deal. For all we know, he could be horrendous next year. So we need a linebacker regardless. But if he ends up being good, then we have Pete Warner re-signed, Micah McFadden, and Anthony Hill.
But you don't play with 3 linebackers.
Yeah, you don't.
That's the issue. That's kind of the issue. Okay, I say we take the corner because, to your point, there's a pretty good linebacker class. I think we can find a guy.
Okay. We're going to go Chris Johnson or Keontae Scott. Who Keontae Scott?
I like Keontae Scott, but I think
he's more of a slot guy too, by the way.
Yeah, but I just think Chris Johnson is just different.
Yeah. We're Chris Johnson here, who I love. A little bit undersized, 6'1", 195, but man, he is sticky in coverage. He is, you can see 16.1 passer rating, 4 picks.
I love Chris Johnson's tape.
Yeah, he's good. So Chris Johnson, we'll pair him up with Kool-Aid McKinstry, and we're going to be back up at 72. And, ooh, some really interesting names here that are still available. For starters, look at running back real quick. Jadarian Price, still on the board here. Seth McGowan, LJ Martin, Emmett Johnson, Nick Singleton, Damon Claiborne, Justice Haynes. We'll see if he ends up going pro. Tight ends, we got to look at these. Jack Endries, Eli Stowers, Justin Jolie, Joe Royer. What else do we need? Linebacker. Let's see what's here. Jacob Rodriguez, Trey Moore. Interior defensive line. Daryl Jackson, Skylar Gill Howard, Tim Keenan, Cole Brevard, Xavier Harris. Man. I think we got to get an interior defensive lineman at some point.
We do. We got to get one sooner than later.
Yeah, we probably need to probably could spend both our second round picks on him. Honestly. We also need a tight end and a running back too. I feel better about our running backs than I do tight end. Like, I think we can get by with Devin Neal, the kid that's coming off the ACL injury, and Audric Estime. There's some youth there. So I would vouch for tight end here.
Who you taking? Who you thinking?
Probably Jack Endries.
That's what I would say.
Because right now it's Jack, Eli Stowers, Justin Jolie, Joe Royer. I think you need a more.
Joe Royer, okay, like Joe Royer is not dynamic, but he is a bigger man. Like he's a old school wide tight end. Jack Endries is more of what you see now, can do a little bit of everything. So
I would go Jack Endries.
For this roster, I would go Jack. Yeah.
Let's go Jack Endries. Just today announced he's going to the NFL draft, so shout out to him. All right, we're back up at 132. And speaking of which, we need to make the trade with the Denver Broncos. Should have done that earlier. Let's do that real quickly. Denver's here, and oh man, they drafted a pick before us. All right, we'll do a quick little we'll just take 2 picks here with the 132. So we got 2 picks and we got 138. What are we
All
thinking
right.
right now? We need a running back.
Need I,
We need
yeah, need
interior
a running
defensive
back,
line.
interior
Ooh,
D line.
Tim Keenan. I like him. Let's go Tim Keenan.
Who?
The Bama interior defensive lineman.
Oh yeah,
Big boy, run stuffer.
big boy. Yeah,
Lost a little bit of
he's
weight,
a
playing good.
traditional run stopper.
I like him. What about
I'm not mad
linebacker?
at that pick.
Linebacker
Who's available?
Trey Moore, Sammy
No.
Amasigo, Harold Perkins. I don't hate that.
If we were a better football team, I would take Harold Perkins. I just don't know where he plays because I don't know if he can play stack. So I would rather go with Tim.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so we're
And,
gonna take. You want to do Tim Keenan?
yeah,
Okay, so we'll take Tim Keenan here with the 131 with the Denver Broncos pick. Now with 132, who we gonna take here? We have Kenyatta Jackson, Jalen Kilgore, Bryce Lance, Mike Washington. Ooh, Mike Washington. Ooh,
Mike Washington.
ooh.
That's intriguing.
Doesn't he remind
That's
you?
a
Doesn't he remind you a little bit though of Devin Neal?
little bit
He's
stronger, but
he's a
yeah,
lot bigger, obviously, but
yeah,
more physical downhill
yeah.
guys. What else do we need? We need who's here at linebacker? No, totally looked at that.
Linebacker,
Corner, maybe another corner. Jalen
corner,
Jalen
receiver, maybe.
Kilgore, Davison Igbinosun, Jermaine Matthews. Receiver would be
Mm,
Bryce Lance, Aaron Anderson, Ted Hurst, Jaden Greathouse. Ooh, my guy Eric McAllister. He's
Eric
here.
McAllister sitting there.
He's a. We could take him in round 5 hypothetically.
Dobbs, Dobbs Olave. To me, need a deep threat.
McAllister. He could do that.
I'm just saying.
I
But okay, if we don't go receiver, then what are we thinking? Back? Thinking running back?
ooh, what up, Pat Coogan?
Oh, the center
Yeah,
guard.
center guard
Yeah,
for Indiana,
Indiana. Yeah.
and then we could
Mm.
do running back. This actually there's a couple good running backs still here on the board.
Still sitting there. I know. That's
Claiborne
why you don't take
Haynes,
him high.
Washington, Jamar Taylor, Le'Veon Moss. I think we're good on running back. We can do that in round 5. Let's do we
I
already got
like Coog.
yeah,
Good call.
let's do him.
Good
We already
call on
have
Coog.
Tim Keenan. Again, this Broncos pick is not Genesis Smith. This is Tim Keenan. We messed up already. Don't worry about it. This is Tim Keenan. So we got the interior guy. Let's go take Pat Coogan here for the center position. And then our last pick at 138 in this draft so far, we have Ruben Bain Jr., we have Chris Johnson, we have Jack
Yep.
Andrews, we have Pat Coogan, and Tim Keenan. I'm almost I don't hate the idea of going 2 tight ends here, if I'm being honest with you.
Who are the tight ends?
We could do Lawson Lucky, Tanner Koziel, Oscar
I
Delp.
like Cozy. Hope. Well, you said
I
a
like
name
it
I
too.
like.
Koziel,
I
we could
like
do
Tanner Cozy.
Daquan Wright. I like Koziel too, by the way.
I
Much more of
like
a
Cozy.
receiving threat more than he is a
Yeah,
blocker, but he's massive,
but
6'7",
I'm about to say
250.
he's freaking 6'7". Like, just put the ball in the zip code. He'll catch it.
Do you think it's early for him though,
Um,
or would you take him here?
I don't think this is too early. I actually like him more than Delp. So, like Delp is going to test out the waters. He's going to test and run fast. He's going to look pretty. I question his hands.
What do you think about
Um,
another interior defensive lineman like Cole Brevard, Xavion Harris, Zane Durant, Rayshon Benny?
I like Brevard. Um,
But he's kind of like Tim
he
Keenan.
could.
Brevard's just a
I'm about
big,
to say they're the same guy.
yeah. So
Like the thought would be to get a guy different from him,
yeah,
get
more
him more of a
pass rusher.
penetrator, quicker guy off the ball. Yeah. Um,
We also could still go Eric McAllister or Bryce Lance, your guy.
a receiver. I was thinking
But
about that.
they also have a 5th-round pick that's really early. They have 147 and 171, so they can probably
Oh, yeah.
they can get a deep threat there. Let's we got it
Let's
linebacker.
go.
Trey
Let's go.
Moore.
Let's Trey Moore at
Yeah.
inside.
off the edge either way. I'm not a. I hate to be this
Here's the
guy.
deal.
I'm a Texas fan. I'm not the biggest on Trey Moore.
I'm not. I just wouldn't take him in the fourth. I would take him day 3.
Yeah.
Take him late 5, early 6.
What
More so
about?
because I don't know where he plays.
Yeah, I don't know
Too
either.
much uncertainty.
What about the kid from OU, Sammy? Amosigo,
Ooh, he has
6'1",
some good tape.
235. Good run defender.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
not
either
that good versus the pass.
we could go running back.
Um,
Damon Claiborne.
I love Claiborne.
He's got some juice.
He, but I say he's different from the guys on the roster right now.
Yeah, because Estime's big. Devin Neal's north and south.
Kendra's north and south and big.
Yeah. Damon Claiborne could be a little bit. I mean, it's either
pace guy.
So options: Damon Claiborne, Justice Haynes. I don't know if he goes pro or not. We could go with another tight end here. We could go Tanner Koziel here. We could go.
Right. Let's just pick a side of the ball first.
You're right.
Offense, defense.
Well, we've done a lot of defense.
We got to help our quarterback out.
I like the idea of taking Koziel here.
I do too.
We
6'7".
We need 2
Sign
tight ends.
me up.
Yeah, let's do Koziel.
Sign me up. 6'7". Sign me up.
All right, Koziel's gonna be here. So do not forget, we also have Tim Keenan in this draft, guys. We just didn't make the trade. So we got Ruben Bain Jr. with our first pick. We have Chris Johnson as our second pick. Jack Endries. Insert Tim Keenan, the interior defensive lineman from Alabama. Pat Coogan and Tanner Koziel at tight end.
That's a good draft.
It's not
our team got better.
I will say
that's a good draft.
We did not get better in the interior defensive line, though. But Christian Boyd, we're hoping to develop him a little bit. I believe Brian Brisset's got 1 more year. I'm not feeling great about it, but Vernon Broughton's got another year. And you also have Nathan Shepard, and now you add Tim Keenan into the room. It's got some young pieces that maybe could develop a little bit, but I'm not feeling great about that interior. I'm going to try to do my best to give a rough recap of all the moves we've done with the depth chart. So quarterback is Tyler Shock. Running back is going to be a committee between Estime, Neal, and Miller. I think Miller probably would get the start, but you'd have those 2 guys rotating in. You would have Chris Olave at receiver with who would we have? Romeo Dobbs. And then you'd have a competition for that 3rd spot, whether it's Dante Pettis, Jalen Polk, Devon Vele. One of those guys will have to win that job. Your tight ends are going to be Jack Endries and Tanner Koziel. Like that duo. Your offensive line is going to be Banks, David Edwards, Coogan and Fortner are going to compete for the center spot. And maybe one of them could play right guard if you don't want to go with Cesar Ruiz again. But Cesar Ruiz at right guard and Talicia Fawanga at right tackle. On the defensive side, we have Ruben Bain Jr. pairing him up with Chase Young. In the interior, it's going to be Brian Brisset, Tim Keenan, Granderson, Vernon Broughton. We hope for those guys to develop a little bit. Linebacker, it's going to be Pete Werner. It's going to be Micah McFadden. And we didn't draft one, did we? No, we didn't draft one.
No.
Danny Stutzman's young as well. Jalen Ford is young. OU, Texas. Let one of those guys compete for it. Secondary is going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry. It's going to be Isaac Yiadom, Quincy Riley, and it's going to be Chris Johnson. I like that secondary a lot. Safeties will be Justin Reed and Jonas Sanker. So, I mean, I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good if I'm being honest with you. I mean, we didn't really get to address defensive interior a lot. We're a little bit unproven at tight end. We didn't really improve running back either. But for the first year in a rebuild, I think we've kind of set the foundation towards a promising future. And then next year, when you have a ton of money, you can be more aggressive at adding receiver 3, right? Adding linebackers, defensive line, things like that.
Yeah. So when you rebuild a team, when you build a team, you have to start inside out. And me personally, I like to start on the O-line because if your quarterback can't drop back and just throw the ball, you're going to have a rough time. And defensively, we aren't terrible. We're just young. And it's a lot of unproven talent. So that's going to take time. But with that being said, to Metro's point, in 2027, if there's a big name out there, guess what? We can pay them to come and anchor the interior D line or the interior of the defense, whether at D line or linebacker. But I always think you have to protect the quarterback first, and you can figure the rest out later, especially when you have a young quarterback. Keep him healthy, upright, and confident. We can figure the rest out later.
Yeah, and on that defensive line, Ruben Bain Jr. is a ferocious run defender. He'll help you out a ton. Him and Chase Young will be great for that defensive line. And if they bring back
Very
Cam
true.
Jordan, he's still very good too as well. And Tim Keenan's he's a hard person to move, so he can at least help you a little bit in the run game.
That
You're
he is.
you're hoping for Christian Boyd and Brian Brisset and Nathan Shepard and Vernon Broughton to take some steps forward. So that is our Saints mock off season. You guys let us know in the comment section below. What did you guys think about our work? Was it good? Was it bad? What would you change? What would you keep? Let us know down below. If you're new, hit the like and subscribe button. We just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you guys very much. We're on the road to 2,000 now, so if we can hit that by the NFL draft, that'd be pretty sweet. Let us know in the comment section below what you agree with, what you disagree with. Be Ross, get us out of here.
Hey, appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your friends, tell your father, tell everybody about the First 10 podcast, because we are here, baby, on the road to 2K. Peace.
Tell your wife, tell your girlfriend. Peace out.